The first couple of years we actually went out and picked fruit. We got volunteers. One year we had like 100 volunteers from Alameda. It was amazing. They just went, all over the North Valley to pick. But it soon became, for one thing, an insurance issue. We had that many people going out, picking fruit. So about the fourth or fifth year, we made it strictly a donation, and by that time, the neighborhood councils were getting in and getting very active with it, slowly but surely. So Granada Hill South has always been one of the primary movers of this because we have, a good source of citrus, especially in the old Granada Hills area. You have the remnants of the Sunshine Ranch. But you also have a lot of homes that have different kinds of citrus, including grapefruit, tangerines, and those kind of things. A lot of people don't know it, but over between Woodley and Gothic and Chatsworth and San Fernando Mission, that area was once a tangerine grove. And there are still tangerine trees in a lot of those homes that were torn out when those homes were built. So we've got a lot of different kinds of citrus fruit and a lot of it. And so the effort is twofold. First of all, it's to bring awareness to the public of food insecurity, and studies have shown that we've got about 140,000 people in the San Fernando Valley that are food insecure, which means that on a day-to-day basis they may or may not have enough to actually eat. And our original partnering was with the Valley Interfaith Council, which our new faith-based director, Mark Morris, is involved in. But we've expanded to other food banks, especially Mend and Silva, because of the amount of fruit we've been able to take in over the years. We've been able to take in more than Valley Interfaith Council, which has about 10 fairly small food banks compared to Mend, for instance. We've been able to spread it out. So this goes just beyond just the North Valley. We furnish for the entire valley and beyond on this event. As an outreach event, this is not the kind of event where you get dozens and dozens of people signing up. Okay, just not. The outreach portion of this is the publicity that you get because it's a neighborhood councils event that neighborhood councils are running, and the fact that you get a lot of publicity valley-wide and city-wide. You get articles in the paper. It's publicized through CD12's website. It's good PR. So it's more of a PR event than it is something like a movie night or something where you're going to get a lot of signups. Besides which, you tend to get the same people donating fruit year in and year out, and they're already signed up normally. So you get a couple, 3, 5, 8 signups, whatever, depending, but it's not something that we emphasize. We do get information from everyone that's there that's willing to volunteer the information. And of course, the first question we ask them is, how did you hear about this? Because we want to find out, what's effective publicity. So last year, for the first time, we actually put some money towards this. This is really a very simple event, which is you show up, you set up, you collect the fruit for 4 hours. Logistically, then you collect all the fruit, and Vic and Mend and Silva distribute it on Monday. So it's, having done it 9 years, the logistics of it are very, very simple. The real crux of this is the publicity, and how you get people out is make them aware of it. So last year, taking borrowing a page from Northridge South, we used postcards, and these were large postcards, green and orange on a white background, that had all the information. And for $500, we were able to cover 2 full carrier routes, which is about 1,100 deliveries in Old Granada Hills. And we got about 800 or 900 additional cards, which we then walked in the other areas that weren't covered by these two carrier routes. So that's what we're asking for again this year, is $500 will go towards that mailing. As far as the other costs, which would be refreshments the day of and so on, Old Granada Hills Residents Group is going to pick that up. We usually get donuts and have water and so on for the volunteers.
So the police will be there too.
The police?
Yeah, donuts.
Well, if we publicize it enough. So that's the event in a nutshell. I think we've got money in the treasury left. I think there's about $6,500 last time I checked the balance. So we've only got, this is going to be the March meeting, we've only got actually 2, maybe 3 more months to spend money. Otherwise that money's going to go back into the... No problem, you got it covered?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I always worry when we get to this this part of the year that we're going to be turning back $4,000 or $5,000.
A couple of things.
Wait.
Oh.
So he's brought the motion. The motion is to allot up to $500 for printing and mailing of postcards to publicize the Joint Neighborhood Council Citrus Sunday event on May 17, 2015. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, open for discussion. Now.
On that note, anyway, we had talked about, and I just want to bounce this off, the 2 ideas. Is there any way collectively we can eventually move this May date so that we can have like oranges and other fruits later in the year when they become ripe?
Yeah, we had talked about that. One of the problems, because we're dealing with so many neighborhood councils, you're dealing with a lot of different type of fruit. Our Valencia oranges are just coming ripe in May. I mean, they're ripe enough to eat.
Okay.
But they reach their full ripeness in June and July. We have talked at the meeting, our last meeting, which Mark attended, by the way, and I think he's going to kind of take over on the board as a board representative, about maybe doing this event twice a year, scaling it down a little bit, and doing it once in the wintertime, because there are a lot of people that have navel oranges.
Right.
And navel oranges come ripe in the winter. That's going to be up to the committee. I'm all in favor of that. Because the logistics of it are in place and they're so simple at this point, there wouldn't be any problem with doing it twice a year. The other reason that it's done in May is that there are several neighborhood councils that have tie-ins with schools, and they do drives at the schools. And of course, school now gets out like the last week in May, first week in June. So they don't want to lose that tie-in.
Right, okay.
So,
and then the other thing, you mentioned Valley Food Bank, men and whatnot. You want to...
Oh, let's do one thing at
Okay.
a time, okay? We well, that's another
Well,
thing.
I'm
I just
multitasking.
want to discuss. Oh, we got a big agenda. I want to discuss this all out. So it might be possible that we have another one. And then I talked with Dave earlier that he says if we have any events coming up around that time, and these cards are coming out in around beginning of May,
right.
we could put a little part on that. So it also advertises the neighborhood council. Not a whole. We can't outshine them, but we could have a little event.
Well, for instance, if you have a date for movie night, you could publicize movie night on that
Sure.
postcard.
Or anything that comes in there,
Yeah.
but not a lot of room. So I thought that was a good addition.
Absolutely.
And who's going to be walking the 800?
Well, I'll walk some of them. I got Eric Mansker to walk some of them last time, and I'm open to enlist Mark to walk some of them. So
Okay.
it's not that 800 sounds like a lot of cards, but if you're an old mailman like me, you take a couple hundred at a time, and you just go out and deliver them in an afternoon and evening. It gets done.
Okay, so we can also ask volunteers for that.
We can also use those cards as handout. The other part of this is I'd love to get some of the churches, especially this church, involved with this. Not just we've had announcements from the pulpits before, but 2 years ago we had Granada Hills Community Church up on Balboa involved, and they have a food bank that they're linked with. They got 270 pounds that they raised as part of the drive. And then we exchanged fruit with them, so they had a better mix of fruit. So they had about 300 pounds of fruit that they could deliver to the food bank in Sun Valley where they're tied
And
in.
Mark's gonna be a big asset, I think, because he knows a lot of churches.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
But
but I-
is there anybody against this or have any negative? Bill?
Our budget of $6,500, and we will be spending $6,000 on the newsletter and the brochures.
Whoa. Well, I just heard that figure right now on the newsletters. Okay.
That's right, and I'm bringing it up now because we're talking about the budget.
No, it's always
and
good.
it's this. Even though this is coming up later, I think it's relevant now because you know what our priorities have been, and that leaves $500 left in our budget, and I don't know that we should give all of our last $500 away.
I actually have, I was going to propose, because exactly I was going to talk to Mark about the issue of the faith-based membership thing is, for instance, De La Salle has, remember when I spoke to you about their summer festivals and
Right.
stuff, and how to join up with the different faiths with their summer activity, whatever it is, and I checked with them. It would cost $250 for us to get a booth in that summer festival so we could distribute information on the
They're charging us?
neighborhood council. That's how I spoke to Dunn about exactly, I said, for us to actually be able to work with the different churches, just as what we've done with Granada Hills Charter High School. We've been, you might not call it paying, but donating. And I spoke to them, they said, you cannot donate to a church. I said, okay, but if it's a fee, then that fee is acceptable for us to set up a place in the festival. And I said, okay, so we can call it a fee or whatever you want to call it, but they said a fee would be acceptable to them.
Well,
Okay, well, wait a second. We're kind of getting a little bit off.
But what
topic.
I'm saying
I know
is budgets.
We have budget concerns.
All
and
I'm just
budget
saying
concerns.
is a lesser amount might be more appropriate at this time, considering what we're
well,
backed
how
up
do you-
against.
How
Well-
are you breaking down the $6,000 for the newsletter? And you mentioned something else, because I know the last one only cost a little over $4,000.
Well, then we'll need your help on that if you can help us with that.
Well,
Well,
We're gonna have a
thi-
bigger
this is
area.
this is we're gonna have a wider distribution. We're going to have extra pages. There's going to be a page in there with a survey, which we're going to be inserting into the newsletter as well. So,
So it's gonna be 6 pages.
again, these are rough figures right now, but I'm guessing at about 20 cents a piece for printing, and printing about 15,000, which is half our stakeholders, assuming we're not mailing to every student and every employee, but if we're mailing to every business and to every residence in our boundaries, that's 9,000 right there. So
Yeah, approximately.
then we want to also have flyers, brochures printed up, new brochures. And the exact cost on that, we're not sure. Right now, we've just gotten the newsletter ready to go to the board for them to look at with these. Hopefully, by next week, we'll have more exact numbers on what our printing costs would be for it. And
Well, I can tell you
such.
what your printing costs will be. It'll be approximately $1,700, maybe $1,800, because your bulk mail.
Again, we're probably not using bulk mail. We're going to use a direct drop,
Okay.
because it just hits everybody who's living in those residences, and it's 7 or 8 cents less, maybe even more. So we might be able to save a lot of money,
Yeah.
but the numbers that I'm coming up with right now are conservative numbers given our goals and what we want to get out. And it's something that we're having to really watch right now because a lot of money has gone out of
And
the council.
when is this scheduled to go out?
As soon as the board approves
Well, we have to approve it
approved.
first here.
W-
and
We,
then it goes
we
to the
still
board.
have to work later tonight on the draft, and we still have to get a few more things together, but we hope to have a final draft ready for the board, and then it's fill in the blanks. There's events that don't have details on them yet on the draft and things like that. Provided that the board approves the draft, we will have figures for sending them out, and we'll get it done. The idea is to have it out by May at the, very latest. We actually set our goal to have this out by December, so we're already well behind.
Well, I know
but-
how it goes.
But-
I've done several newsletters, and it's always months
Yeah.
after you want to.
And again, it's just something that we have to be concerned about. Right now is the outreach budget and how much we have left with what we've set
No,
up for our
absolutely.
goals.
Yeah,
So
I don't
that-
disagree
that's
with that.
just
And
that's
if
just
we
the
don't get
concern.
this, if we don't get the cards out, or we get less out, it's really not going to, it's not going to break or the participation with the churches
in it.
might be a greater driver than the cards, but at the very least, we need cards printed, even if we didn't mail them.
What's the scheduled date?
May 17th.
May 17th. Well, with any kind of luck, we've got this done and approved, and we've got an article in this newsletter about Citrus Sunday. Or is it going to be Sunday again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we call it Citrus Sunday.
Citrus Saturday.
Is it possible we can coordinate that and just have fewer postcards, and we have our newsletter?
No, but what he's saying is-
Again, what I'm saying is 500 might be a little steep. I'd be willing to maybe consider something around 200 right now, which would pretty much, would still leave us enough to accomplish this if my estimates are
So
accurate
yours is a
rather than.
price. First, can we all just agree that it's a good thing and we should support it?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's one. Now it just comes to dollars and cents.
I'd like to
ahead.
get an idea what's on the postcard, whether Granada Hills Neighborhood Council is in the postcard, and is it, well, visually, most probably is what I'm saying. What's the postcard going to look like, and how much bang for the buck are we getting? Kind of thing,
So
That,
you,
I tried to find, should have printed out one. On the card itself, of course, you've got Granada Hills South Neighborhood Council very prominent, as well as the logo. And the other logo that's on there is the Citrus Sunday logo, which is kind of a stylized slice of orange. Okay. So, and then basically you've got the information, the drop off, the information. There's a generic card that some have used that have all the drop off points. If memory serves, we didn't do that. We just used the one drop off, or we might have used two because we've got one at Fire Station 87 as well. So we may have just put those two drop off points. It's totally up to the council what they want to put on the card.
All right.
So,
can we leave go ahead.
Okay. I would say that it's safe to acknowledge the fact that we all learned a valuable lesson this year about our donation to robotics and the security at Granada High. Gave away way too much money. That having been said, we also need to keep in mind that out of our budget, we still haven't addressed bags and pens and clips.
Giveaways.
All the giveaways that
We're all
That's
out.
we
right.
need money.
That's right.
We need to replenish those.
So we need to look at that whole thing as a whole.
Can we leave it to the board to decide the amount, and we have something from 200 to 500, then we can get more information when we come up to the board vote?
Well, I think we should, when's our next meeting?
March
Well, it's
5th.
gonna come up to the board on
Yeah,
next week.
Okay.
it's up to
Next
you
week.
guys. It's better to go in with a figure and then
Right.
let them
Absolutely.
batter
I
it out
agree.
I
afterwards.
never agree with Mr. Kuzma, but I agree with him.
Oh, good. I guess it's working its way to the All
It's
right.
getting pretty scary.
Time to change it.
Yeah,
All right.
well, you know.
So what do you wanna say for amount that we can agree on?
To me, 250.
Yeah. At least for now.
Are you okay with that?
I'm fine with
Up to
that.
the board.
Anything would be welcome,
Okay.
and what I would suggest if we go with 250 is that we just have 250 where the card's printed, and the strategy be that we walk as many as we can, and we use the rest for the church outreach.
We could do that. And try to have the church distribute some of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
We could hit 2 or 3, 4 of the larger churches.
That would spread out pretty good.
Not only the churches, but that means we would have to walk a few too.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as everybody's agree with that. Okay, so we'll put it for 250. Okay, so the motion is the same motion except allow up to $250 with the caveat that we will be doing a little bit more work and it'll be distributed by other.
Well, we can distribute to the different churches, and I'm sure it's going to be easier to distribute that many.
As long as they have oranges around, it's fine. Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want to distribute to churches with it.
Well, you know,
Well, it's
just
outreach.
one last thing. There actually is an advantage to walking it as opposed to mailing. Because even in Old Granada Hills, not every house has
Orange.
orange trees or citrus trees. So when you're walking it, you can go and you can very easily see
Who has
who has them and who doesn't, and bypass the ones who don't. So
That's
it's
right.
actually a more effective way of getting the word out.
Okay,
But in general, though, because it is outreach, we don't really care whether we hit the ones with citrus or not, technically, because it's outreach. You want your name to be in front of people,
Right.
which is the idea. Now, you know, I understand you're trying to get more fruit and stuff, but in general, it's outreach. Any sort of exposure is supposed to be considered.
well, that's
Beneficial
true,
to us.
but we'd rather target it to where the people have something, you know,
Yeah.
do two things at once. Okay, we have the motion, do I have a second? Renee,
There's only 3 of
Good
us.
job. Good job.
okay. Just board members own, comments from you guys?
Oh, I already made mine.
No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, 3-0. All right, Dave, very good.
Good deal.
All
Thank
right,
you. I'll
thank
stick
you.
around for a few minutes and
Okay.
hear what else you got going on.
While we're on this, it's kind of citrus-like. I know last meeting we agreed that you wanted to come in to the next meeting and tell about your union, what is it, Union Rescue Mission?
It's called Hope Gardens.
Hope
It's a
Gardens.
transitional housing for women and children and seniors, female
Uh-huh.
seniors. We're located in Silmar,
Okay.
but we serve everybody. They actually go through Union Rescue Mission downtown, Skid Row, and get sent out, and anybody from anywhere in the valley.
Can go to
gets,
you.
yeah, they get to go there. We provide services for 2 years. And we educate people. I'm the chef there. I'm the executive chef. And so what we do is basically just teach the residents about nutrition and food, and would love to be part of this. I actually partner up with Richard Weinroth over at MEND, and Will Hernandez over at the Valley Food Bank. I've been part
Absolutely.
of that. I was part of the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission before then. So I have a lot of connections, Hope of the Valley, all these rescue missions. So if you can include us. it would be a great
Absolutely,
thing.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so I can do a short presentation, give out information. And not only limited to that day, but if anybody has anything, I can attend the meetings and pick
Well,
up.
and you should,
they-
are you in touch with Food Forward? You know that
Yes,
organization?
but they provide pallets and pallets. We serve 250 people at my location. So Food Forward, actually, I think the minimum is like 4 pallets of, of one item.
I remember when we used to get 5 bags and, we were happy with that. Food Forward.
Yeah, so, but what we do is that we do talk to each other in the nonprofit community. And so if Children 100 Fund has rice or has apples,
It's like
they'll
you
call
do
us
an
and we'll
exchange.
take you. We don't exchange. We provide excess of what we have to be able, we can exchange.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
But-
but we share.
Move it forward.
Yeah.
Can we have you come and do that at the public comments? Because it's not, I don't want them to really vote on something and take their time. You're just providing a service to us,
Mhm.
which is the meetings, you'll be getting whatever food they have there, right?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's the main thing, and you'll work with Dave and the others on the system, so that's perfect.
Listen,
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll give you the 2 public comment minutes, okay? You could do everything in 2, or you need more?
If you give me a little bit more,
5, we talked about giving her 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm just saying, the more time you take, you know, the less people are gonna be listening. Okay, 5 minutes
I know.
into public comments. No, I mean, we have things to do.
Well, it's a presentation. We were gonna ask to allow her to make a 5-minute presentation
Or less.
separate
Yeah.
from the public comment,
Do you
not
wanna do it
agenda.
during the outreach part? Cause I didn't
I
put
would
it
love
in
to
right
do
there.
that, yeah.
We can-
Okay.
It
we
brings
can do that.
awareness about
Okay,
the situation.
we could do that, but I mean, it's gotta be 5 minutes, bring materials and nothing more.
Mhm.
I see money under that chair right there.
That's good.
Is that yours? Is it
Oh,
5?
yeah.
I hope so.
Is it yours?
I hope so. I'm the closest.
Anyway, okay,
Where's
so
your
we'll
name?
do that,
Absolutely.
okay?
Mhm.
Where's the donation thing? I guess I gotta
So,
give it to
would you give me an
God.
estimated time?
I'm in a
Could
church.
you
I can't do that.
What if it's not
No way
mine?
can I do that right now, we're just throwing in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll call you up and let you know.
Renee, you better
How's
put
that?
this
I'll
in
call
the,
Mike.
in the, in the
Okay.
basket on Sunday, okay?
All right.
Because
Well, it might be somebody else.
Hey, listen, you know, if it
It's
goes
not
back
yours?
to,
I could've
it's
sworn
going
there
in,
wasn't
it's going
anything.
into the basket on Sunday, okay? That way there's no
Okay.
guilt for anybody.
I'm just doing, I have to do an update to Brad tonight if he allows it. On your thing, the way we have it, I just did a 2 minutes public comment,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So I'll try and change it tonight. If I can't, just come
Okay.
public comment, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right,
Now,
thank
you had also mentioned about doing it for North.
They already have a collection there, somebody who collects like cans, Bill Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanna do it, you can too, but it might compete with him. But you know, you have to, should do it for the North too.
Jim, Jim,
Bill-
it
Bill's-
was in the minutes from the last meeting that we were gonna ask North to let her present up there
Okay,
too.
do public comments, I can't,
The
I've already
decision.
turned in the agenda actually a couple days before.
Okay.
Public comments and
They
then the
might
next
give,
time.
they might
it
give
could
you
be
more
it.
time
They
anyway.
should give
Sorry,
you more
I
time.
didn't hear you.
Maybe the next meeting we could give you more time, but always be
Okay.
there to collect, okay? I'm
Alright.
sorry I couldn't do
So-
anything else, but
No, no,
these
that's
things
fine.
are kind of rushed.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now we're at B, okay, you guys are free to go if you have to, or you can stay around if you.
We'll stick for a few minutes.
That's
All
my
right.
ride.
You lose
Can't
4
drive.
of
Okay,
it.
what time
I
are
can
we?
give you a ride.
7:45 almost, okay? We have a lot of items.
And we'll have you hop all the way home, man.
Exactly.
Okay, update on the website. Well, I just got more information, but, Dunn is not approving Aaron, our current webmaster, for the website. There's price lists out. They have 10 approved
We're
webmasters.
friends.
Let's see, well, it's not an immediate need, like, we're not gonna lose it on right away. They're actually looking at July 1st when we change over like that. So,
Okay.
so it's not a panic situation. In the meantime, I want the board to be looking at other websites and stuff. Nothing we decide tonight.
Did Eric send you that list?
Yeah, I don't know how Eric got it, because I was the one supposed to contact Jeff Brill, and it kinda messes things up if he sends me something and doesn't continue, but I've talked to him, but the same principle for everybody, we have to, can't drop the ball, you know, at one thing, we have to, we'll work on that. But anyway, he did send the list, and I'll send it out to all of you. Let's see, anything else on the web, oh, you got your social media thing?
I finally got
Facebook?
that.
Oh, you did?
Got access?
From Jet, yeah.
Great. Did you post anything yet?
I had a little trouble actually getting it to work, so I'm working it out.
Okay. And we'll be giving you stuff to post up
And then I
there.
got sidetracked a little bit.
Okay, no, but that's good, because now you're not gonna be running
And,
around.
it's just gonna
You
work.
can
And
be
I,
on the
oh, and I
computer.
just got that link from, I forget the lady's name, who was doing a summary of all the schools in the neighborhood. So I just got that link too, just
Okay.
a couple of days ago.
Okay. And if you have any questions about what you should put up and should not, you can contact other people in the outreach committee. And then if it goes really bad, you know, we can contact Darren, but you have to be careful what you're putting on there, okay? All right. And then we'll see if we can combine, I don't know what Granada Hills North does with Facebook, but they might need your help. Or is it just you, or is there someone else?
Well, I haven't seen Cindy in forever, so
Is
it's
Cindy
just,
the
it's,
other one
it's
that's
just me
supposed to?
for now.
Right, okay, no, you do your work, we'll
Yeah.
just see, we should have like 2 or 3.
I'm not gonna wait anymore, I'm just gonna,
Just do it.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. Any more, oh, also on the website, this week I'm gonna put up new stuff to replace what's ever old. Like they have our outreach meeting here, as I think Monday instead of Wednesday. And a lot of other things just to update it. Mission statement that you did, that we approved, a lot of stuff that will be on. So look for changes. I'll try and do it before the board meeting. And then that way we can look in and ask the board what they want.
Wasn't it something about the website? I heard that Aaron was willing to teach maybe one board member or somebody who might be interested in taking care of the website. So there would be no need for a vendor taking care of the website. That I read in the emails, in the correspondence, that Aaron was suggesting that he can teach somebody to just do it instead of
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Well, we always have to get people who want to do the work.
Yeah.
But the other thing, there are other options from what I've heard from Dunn. We might have an independent website like Nation Builder,
Mhm.
and it's pretty easy to put things in there. And runs about $100 a month if you have 5,000 people. It's like $24 a month if you have less, a lot less. And so we could try that and try other things. The thing I don't like about Aaron's website is there's no stakeholder input. There's no place for that other than Facebook.
To have interaction.
Yeah, and we're trying to get interaction, we're trying to get polls of people coming in and things like that, so we actually get people involved on even the committee level, but definitely on the board level. Because the more people are involved, the more they're participating, the more they'll help us. So, any other comments on the website, just general?
I did remember 2 months ago you asked me to look at the website for inconsistencies. We
Mhm.
talked about some of those already. I do have the list
Okay, I
that
haven't
I
done a
started to
single
do at that
change,
point.
but we
And,
will.
and the one thing that I noticed tonight that we still have up on the outreach committee that we should probably just get removed is the 2009 outreach plan.
Right. No, and we have to replace it with our own.
Too new?
Well, we actually have one. We would just need to put it into different words. But when they did the survey this year, when Dunn did the survey of the board, and what your plans were for the metrics and stuff, that in essence became our new outreach plan.
Okay.
So we
I'll
might.
get that from the
I mean,
executive committee.
Yeah,
We'll
for
put
for
that
now,
up
for
until
now, we
later.
just need to fix it and take the thing that we're not using out.
Okay, and any other ideas you have on the website, how to improve it, give them to me written form, email them to me, so I could do it by the meeting. All right? Moving on, let's go with item D.
Oh, the business forum.
I haven't gotten anything from Cindy, okay?
I
It's a
haven't-
great idea, but we have to work on it ourselves if she doesn't give us anything. I
But
thought
she was
would-
the main
I know.
spear person trying to do it.
Right, but that goes for anything. You can't just give an idea, here it is, dump it on us for us to do the work, because it's impossible for us to do. So we're just waiting. It's a great idea, great potential. Granada Hills North wants to get on with it. It's good for us for outreach to get a list of all of our business people, and we'll just have to table this to the next meeting.
That isn't that one the time sensitive one?
No, because we'll just move up the date. We can't,
Yeah.
unless you want to quit everything else and work on just that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
initially when she talked to us about this, we had set a
Yeah.
date for it for May,
Yeah.
or for a month at least to do it. And obviously we know we need more than 3 months to organize the event. But one of the things on a side note, but related, I got my copy of the the little newsletter that comes out from the North Valley publication.
Mm-hmm.
They had a list in there have all these small business administration workshops. There were leadership workshops, entrepreneurial workshops, all these different workshops, and then they repeat themselves. I'm not sure where they were, but they could make a nice substitution piece for my article about the business forum that won't be in the newsletter.
Okay, no, I mean, we're
You
still
know,
gonna do
is
this
to take
later
that
on.
list and put that in there for those business-minded people. Consider these events or something of that nature. Again, you know, without those committee chairs sending in any kind of articles, you know, we don't have much to put in there other than what we can create
Right, I talked to the chamber on this and some business owners, they're all for it, so it's not
for
bad.
the.
For some type of forum, they haven't really had that, where you just get everybody in there. For a business SBA.
Yeah,
they're all into it.
yeah.
They even have their presenters and stuff, we just gotta
Yeah.
put it together. And Cindy was talking about the site, if it's gonna be big, Granada Hills High School auditorium, so we're 3 months down the line. I think we better table this till our next meeting.
Mhm.
You all agreed?
Does that include the label?
Did you, huh?
The label?
Label.
The decals is a separate
The
issue.
decals? Oh, okay.
Separate issue.
No, that's a huge undertaking. You
Yeah.
need months and months and months to prepare something like that.
Right,
Mm.
okay. Moving on, so that's tabled till next meeting. Outreach plan, boy, we're gonna have to table this, I think. I have a general outreach plan based on what we've done the last year, but, I haven't had time to put it together. Actually, our next thing, Easter egg hunt, when is that?
It's coming up soon.
When's Easter?
Yeah, last year. this-
Well,
we
6
blew
weeks
this
from
all-
last
all
Wednesday.
together.
Okay, we're still good. Our next event is March 11th.
And that's
right?
our participation with the park, right?
And then we have the Easter, can you look up Easter when they're doing that?
Yeah.
I think they do that Saturday the week before, though.
Could be.
Yeah.
Actually, Cindy said she's gonna like compile a list of all the things that we have for a year. And we're gonna have to take that over. probably.
Yeah, we'll have to take that.
Yeah.
It's not that hard now
No.
that we've been through 9 months, but I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know what you guys were doing before. When is Easter?
Right. Come on. Easter, April 5th. Falls
so
on
we're,
April 5th.
so we're good on that. That'll be
Yeah.
towards the end of March. What's the weekend before that, so we have an approximate date?
March 27th.
Week before April 5th,
Okay.
the 29th of March.
And the Saturday would be the 28th.
28th
Okay,
is
so that's what, so
Saturday.
we're good. We're good to prepare that. It's mostly a money donation, then we'll have
Right.
balloons on our table, so we'll do the same thing as the Halloween.
The
outreach.
Halloween.
Okay. But, so our next big event is March 11th.
Right.
And this is really important because the city attorney's coming. We've already approved it, they did flyers, they sent me a flyer, I'll send to all of you that haven't seen that. There are some concerns really close in the area. One is like a sober living home or adult daycare next to that. They came to a planning and land use meeting last night. We're gonna do our outreach plan around there and include information about this, so we get them coming to that, and also about the cell tower on Chatsworth. We're gonna do
Oh, the new
outreach
ones
to that, yeah.
on top of that building.
So, we got requested from, planning and land use to work on those two, and we'll start that. Now, that's also cuts into our budget, but I think it's a good idea to do, because we wanna do problem-oriented outreach to begin with, cause that's the most potential we have. Okay?
And
For people to
guarantee
answer.
people to want to participate if they're in that immediate area anyway.
Right, and they'll see this, wow, we got the city attorney of LA to come, so their problems are really neighborhood prosecutor program that they're also gonna discuss here. So it fits in perfectly, we just have to do it at outreach, to do them, and the plan simply is,
What's the
for
plan?
people who are realtors, we go, well, no, cause we know how to get the labels and everything, and we'll teach the.
Are you planning on walking this, or are you planning on mailing it?
Mailing right now, but we'll walk some, and the other thing is to get the people that are involved to walk some, the farther away you go.
Oh, you mean involve the people
The
in
people
the
who are
immediate area?
complaining.
Yeah.
The only thing we do, have to do.
Organize.
Yeah, we'll make a list of what we have to do for outreach, but we have to always get both sides or all sides of the issue. You can't just hit one, side.
And you made a good point about that last night.
Okay, and then the other thing we have to do is, make sure that they keep coming back once we solve their problem with the idea of community, and that's one thing we have to do, because we're strong if we have community. They support us and we support them, but for right now, I want to prioritize the problem-centered outreach right now, okay? So we'll work on outreach plan, and we have that going. I'll work on.
That's March 11th.
That's March 11th. That's coming up
That's
pretty
coming up
fast.
too fast.
But we don't have to do a whole lot. It's social media, okay? You already started on that, or got that
That
done.
costs us
definitely
like
mailing.
$100, right?
For what?
To participate in that.
No, that was
No.
free.
Yours?
No
What
cost.
was $100?
We didn't give them anything.
Oh.
All they wanted to do was use.
I think for what? No, but I thought the $100 was either for refreshments or
No,
something.
that's
No?
something else.
No.
It was no money at all.
Okay.
And they're doing.
It's definitely just social media.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
that's
also-
important.
That's also through the League of Women Voters, right?
No, that
No.
was
Women's
another
Club.
I
event.
probably got two things.
That was a candidates event that's already gone
Okay.
by. Okay? All right.
This is the one at the women's club, right?
Right, this one.
That's gonna be standing room only.
We wanna
already.
do that, yeah. We want, because that shows our power.
And it's right in the middle of
Yeah, it's right
the
there.
area.
And luckily, we have a couple problems around there, so we should get 200 Granada Hills people to be able to walk there, at least 100, if we fire them
You're
up.
gonna get a.
What's
big
March
crowd.
11th?
And you got the
March
residents
11th, what
group
day
going
is
on.
it?
Yeah, we've now publicized it in the newsletter. We're gonna do a robocall.
Good, good. So we really want good outreach there, and it is,
So 11 is Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Trying to
good
get somebody
too.
out there on
So it's 2 weeks from last night.
a weekday.
Yeah, but we have to do our best, okay?
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is trying to get people out there on a weekday.
We'll get people out there, I'm sure we will. We'll get a lot. And it's not only just Granada Hills, that's for the whole Devonshire division, so we're contacting the other neighborhood councils around. Bill?
Can we get the email blast out on the event?
Yes.
Let's put it on
That's
the
planned.
agenda. Or, make sure, do we need, this is kind of an odd, this brings me to another question. We get charged to do these email blasts, correct?
Maybe we should try and do them on our own.
Well, eventually when we get control of our website and our database, we can.
Mhm.
But for now, we're getting charged. And
It's not that hard, I could do them on my own. It's serious, apart from Aaron, because I have the list.
It's like $40, right?
No.
it's
an
20. I
email
think it's
letter.
like 20
Plus-
if you have Aaron do an extra email blast.
20?
I think it's like I think
We'll
it's like
see.
20.
I think
but
we're
but
about
but
one a
but
month.
but the interesting point of it is what expenditures that would be considered normal expenditures of the outreach committee, like something like that,
Mhm.
have to be board approved. And why I'm asking that question is because we talked about working with planning and land use and getting our second mailers out on the sensitive issues.
Mhm.
And again, to be waiting for the board to do that, for a board approval to send out the 1,000 letters to that thing, as we talked about last night, those are sometimes very time sensitive and you don't have the time to do that. So what I'm curious about, maybe Dave, you can give input on this. I mean, how much freedom does the committee have to, spend $100 to send out letters at the Planning and Land Use Committee's request for a cell tower issue, say, for example?
It depends on how the motions have been run in the past, though.
Mm-hmm.
In years past, we have designated an emergency outreach fund,
Mm-hmm.
and it might be $500, it might be $1,000, and the chair and the committee have been allowed to simply dip into that for
Mhm.
exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Something comes up, we're not going to have a board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to call a special board meeting for this. We can dip into that fund. So I don't know if that's been established this term, whether there's any money in that, but we had done that in terms past where we had simply said, we're gonna set aside $500 for emergency outreach. And we've even ordered giveaways out of that when we were out of certain
Right.
things, you know, so long as we didn't exceed it. So that parliamentary wise, that's how you can deal with it. It's just, you
Or
gotta
work
be.
it into the budget in that
You
manner
work it
and
into the budget.
identify the expenses that it'll be used for. Because the idea here is on a regular basis with planning and land use, we wanna be able to work with them and get these mailers out, you know, to that 1,000-foot radius as opposed to the 500-foot radius.
And Dunn really doesn't have any problem with it as long as it's a de minimis amount. You know, you're talking about $500 or maybe $1,000 out of a $35,000 budget. You know, they're not gonna.
Well, again,
spend-
I don't expect that those mailers would cost that much. There's, you know, in 1,000 square feet, there might be 100 homes. So,
Yeah.
And we
you
can
know,
also walk them.
it's going to be $50 to send out a letter and it's
So-
on with a stamp.
But you have to establish that, you know, each
In
year.
advance.
Each fiscal year, you have to establish that in July or August.
It's
Well,
part of the
Granada Hills-
budget.
What
Yeah.
Granada Hills North has is they've already established $600 for their outreach for mailers in the north. So if they have a problem, they go to outreach, but it comes out of their money.
Sir, there's money set aside
There's money set
specifically for
aside.
It's on the
mail.
budget line
Yeah.
and you can spend
Yeah.
it at any time.
Yeah, so it's already
At
set
the
aside.
discretion of the committee.
So it doesn't have to go through the full council to,
It should, but sometimes there's planned things that,
That's what I'm saying.
timelines that we can't
Well,
do.
no, if you set aside that amount and you designated the committee to make the decision, then the committee makes the decision.
okay.
A lot of times, some of the other neighborhood councils give that authority and power to their executive committee to do some of
Right.
those incidental small things. But it's just something that we're going to want to make sure that we're thinking about in the future and that's part of course, our plan is to be able to work and get these things out.
Right.
You know, our new outreach plan, you know, we've really pretty much talked about it the last 5 meetings
Right.
and really it's there.
And from what I see, the board has so much to do in other things that they've given us a lot more power than like Granada Hills North, so we don't have to go to the board on everything. It's already agreed upon. We're gonna handle this for now. So it is
They're
good.
sending us stuff.
Yeah, and they are sending us stuff. We have to get stuff out so we
They're-
don't look bad and really do what it's meant to be.
They're telling people during, general meetings, it's outreach. It's not yours, it's outreach. So it's a good thing.
Well, it is good, and we have to work with the different committees, and it'll get better, and our list will be good. We just gotta start doing it. Okay, so that's it for outreach and board events, and shall we do our outreach plan at the next meeting?
Well, one other quick question with regards to plans and events. What does a bench, park bench cost for,
Well,
I know you
you already
never
talked to me about that. It's about $100 per month. It's,
Oh, per month.
yeah, it comes out to $1,200 a year.
Yeah, and
Get
you
a
can
little
sign a
discount.
contract or something,
Yeah, you
right?
could get a little discount, for 3 or 4 benches. Granada Hills North did a couple benches. As realtors, that's not your prime thing. You could lose a lot of money, but it is good when we have more money available. So it is good on the list. Eric actually mentioned that, Eric Mansker, to me. And I just gave him my opinion that not now because
Well,
we're
we
short
came
on
up with
money.
that yesterday.
Okay, but yeah, well.
You're talking about the bus benches, right?
Plus benches, but just right now, we don't have that much money, and I'd
No,
like
no.
to see it to go to Citrus Sunday or something else. Okay, but we'll put it down as for outreach plan for next time we talk about it.